Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Duotone Foiling Tech Talk. I'm Klaas and I'm standing here with Jerome, our foil designer. And today we have something pretty interesting here in front of us. It's the new Whizz, our prone and wake dedicated foil. And Jerome, to be brutally honest, come on, you made a mistake in designing and put the mount on the wrong way. Tell me something about this funky design.
Yeah, pretty interesting design for sure. Well, we had an interesting sort of design brief for this wing because we wanted very good pumping efficiency. That basically this wing was made for surf foiling. So you want to be able to surf the wave, but you want to be able to go around, catch the next one.
That's the whole deal. And
that's the whole idea.
Foiling.
Now, typically when you look into high aspect front wings which pump really well, the drawback is that once you get on the wave, they feel very stiff, and once you are on the wave, they're not very fun to surf. So we were like, how can we make a wing that's fun to surf, basically that rides like a low aspect carve, and you can really like rip turns on, but then still kick out of the wave at relatively slow speed and keep pumping. That was the whole sort of design idea. And to the best of our knowledge, there wasn't really something out there on the market that really ticked all these boxes. So we had to sort of think outside the box. And that's why this wing...
It looks outside the box.
Yeah, it looks quite special, but it works. Like every single...
It works amazingly well, yeah.
Yeah, every single team rider, every single friend we've had trying these wings has always been super stoked. So what we did is, first of all, we went with a medium aspect ratio, so not too high, not too low. We are around 8.5. That gives us good pumping potential, just the aspect ratio itself, but without going too crazy in terms of span and being too locked in roll. Secondly, and probably what's the most innovative with this front wing is, if you look at it from the front, you notice that instead of sort of curving down like most front wings, this one actually goes up. And by doing that, and by simulating different curvatures, because that's something we can simulate on the softwares we've got, we realized that we could completely loosen the roll of the wing by doing it. And I mean, this 850 is even looser than the Carve 850, for example.
It's the first thing you feel when you jump on this wing.
I mean,
it's like, whoa.
As soon as you get on it, you look one way and the wing wants to go that way. Like, you don't even need to engage your toes or your heels. You just look and it goes. And it's very special, and that comes from this dihedral shape instead of an anhedral, which goes down. This one goes up. And last detail, or one of the last detail, is the actual profile itself. It's actually a profile we sort of took from our AMP, our dock start wings, because we realized we needed to be able to slow down, kick out of the wave at sort of slow speed, and we needed a wing that we could push on and get flying again. Mm-hmm. And this is what this AMP profile does extremely well. You can go right down, you think you're going to stop, you think you're going to sink, but the foil just keeps foiling. And you push on it and off it goes again. It's actually quite amazing. Even on the smaller one, on the 850, I still amaze myself, like, how am I not falling? No, the thing just keeps going. And obviously even easier on the bigger sizes. And the last detail is probably this very straight leading edge that you see. So we've got zero sweep at all in the wing. And that gives us a couple of things. First of all, it makes the wing very efficient in terms of lift to drag, because we've got the sort of the thickest part of the profile completely straight, and the entire sort of span of the wing is helping to generate lift, all of it. And second thing that this straight outline does is it also helps engaging the turn. Without getting too technical, the way the wing flexes is kind of different. Like at the wingtips, as you press into a turn, it flexes differently than on a wing with a little bit more sweep. And it gives it this very special character that you can only feel by riding it, you know. It definitely takes a session or two to really dial it in and feel comfortable on it. The first time you can almost feel that it's too roll sensitive. But once you get used to it, it's a very addictive feeling. And everyone we've had prone foiling on it or wake surfing has been like raving about this wing.
Yeah, I can fully confirm what you just said. Like I'm not a very good prone foiler, and if I kick out of a wave, I really need to work my way. But what you just described, you're coming over the top of the wave, and then you just slowing down, and this wing would not stall. No. You could just like pump it, bring it back to speed, pump it out, and rip into the next wave. That was even for someone my level was really easy to do. And I personally tested it a lot, like wing foiling, the different sizes. And also wing foiling, I must say, especially when I'm riding the swell and riding strapless even, that's when I enjoyed it the most. Where I could just be on a prone board, flagging the wing and just rip little turns in the rolling swell. It does that amazingly well. And obviously much more loose than the glide. You might want to include 2-3 pumps more than you would need to with a glide, but the turning itself is the maneuverability is so insane. Another thing that I must comment on is like, since you say the wingtip is coming up, and that makes you breach the tip quite easy. But it breaches like you don't feel anything. Why is that?
You can get. Well, yeah, because of that wingtip going up, it basically does not sort of pull the air back with the wing as it re-enters in the water. It sort of releases that air bubble very easily. So you're right, you can really get those turns going, like get the wingtips going out, you know, feel like a pro. And they re-enter.
Throw some spray,
and they do it extremely well. And
So basically, for prone foilers, all levels, wake foilers, all levels, depending on the level, you would choose the size and obviously on the weight of the rider. And winging, if you're into that free fly kind of riding, flagging the wing and ripping turns. Now looking at these stabilizers that we're piling up here, they also look pretty different. What's the idea behind those?
So after we went a little bit outside the box with the front wings, we were like, why don't we do something similar with the stabilizers, basically. We just tried and see how it works. So again, we went with a very straight leading edge, and we tried to concentrate most of the surface area towards the center, keep some pretty thin, like short chord length around the wingtips. And we work with a new profile as well, which is a little bit, let's say, less cambered than our C or P stabilizers. So a little bit less draggy, and they pump quite a bit better actually than our other stabilizers. So they are a very good match.
Than the P and the C.
Than the P and the C. So they are a very good match to the Whizz because they help a lot actually in the pumping, these tabs. Because of the fact that the wingtips don't have much surface area, they turn beautifully as well. They are pretty much straight as well. They actually go like a small dihedral shape to them as well, same as the front wings. They go up a little bit. And they're just like a really good match and help bring out this very playful character of the front wing. You can also use them on our glide and on our carve to sort of bring out more of that pumping, first of all, and maneuverability. And if you spend most time in the surf, I recommend pairing these tabs with anything, basically. Expect to have a little bit less front foot pressure when you do it.
You want to move the foil a bit forward?
The foil forward.
Generally with a whiz?
Generally, anytime you'll be using the S stab.
Right.
So if the whiz, if you're pairing it as we recommend with the S, you will want to move the mast a bit further forward, like 1.5, 2 centimeters. But also if you put that S with the glide or with the carve, and similarly, for whatever reason you want to use the P or the C stabs on the whiz, then you're going to be moving your mast back to the other position. So it's the mast position is more related to the actual S stab than to the front wing itself.
Now, size-wise, what would be your recommendations, or how would you compare, let's say, a 1000 whiz against other wings that we have in the range in our lineup, like a 905 glide or
so you
1085 glide, or where does it place more or less?
You definitely want to downsize when you pick a whiz, because the profiles are very powerful. They have a lot of camber to them. So if you look at actual lift values, the 1000 whiz is actually closer to a 1305 glide.
Closer than to the 1085.
Closer to the 1305 than to the 1085.
All right.
Of course, because they are smaller surface area, they will require a little bit more board speed to get up if you compare back to back against a 1305. But once you're up, the lift they generate is actually closer to the 1305. So that means that even on tiny waves, you will realize that, you will notice that when you're on the whiz, even on a 850 or on 1000, you barely need to pump. You get on the wave, and that little bit of push from the wave is enough to sort of get the speed that you require. You don't need to sort of pump your way on the wave, which is something that we wanted for these wings. And yeah, maybe the last thing we could say is, because they've got that profile that stalls very late, they are also great if you want to dock start, if you have already a bit of a level dock starting.
Sure.
And you want something that sort of, that you can pump but that you can turn, because again, a lot of the big, we were talking about the amp, those big pump foils, they're great, easy to pump, but you can't really do much sort of maneuvers on them. And that's where the 1450, the 1200, or even the 1000 whiz, you can actually dock start them if you have a little bit of experience. They work, and they're pretty fun. Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely a really interesting design. I'm pretty excited about this range. It's definitely something not for the entry level guys. It's for the advanced riders.
Yeah.
But if you get a chance, definitely try to feel what we are talking about, because that's something pretty mind-blowing, how a wing of that pumping ability can be so loose and roll. If you guys have more questions on this, leave a comment. If you want to see more of that content, subscribe. So we're going to make basically a Tech Talk episode of every single wing we have in the range. And give us a like if you like the content, and hope to see you in the next one.